I remember when I first got on Fuck That Shit, and um, we before a show, before maybe the first or second show we did, Drew and Kate were telling me about, we had done a practice the day, maybe that day or the day before, and I had made this move regarding broccoli in the practice, and it was, let's be honest, it was a bad move. It was a bad broccoli move, but they were like, that was great. When you said the stuff you said about broccoli, that was amazing. And it's because they believed, I think, that I was a fun person to play with. So if, let's say I was a selfish player then, which may have been true. Let's say I was.
Yeah.
From a selfish point of view, it's a really great idea not to play in a way that makes people feel like they don't like you, because if they do like you, there's a chance that they might give you that kind of boost before a show. Yeah. And man, I just played great in that show because I knew that both of them wanted me to, and that they were looking for me to.
Yeah. There's so many different personalities on stage, right? There's confident people, there's nervous people, there's, all sorts. That's the real problem. Like, I know from my standpoint, I was always worried that no one liked me or thought I was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one on my team thinks I'm funny enough. They don't want me in scenes.
Oh, God.
When I'm in a bad stretch, which might not mean my shows are bad, but where I feel bad,
yeah,
I don't feel like anyone likes my moves. I feel like I'm being ignored, even if it's not happening. It's just what it feels like to me. There's other people who have different hang-ups and all that stuff. Their hang-ups might be just that, they know they're funny, but they feel like, no one wants to play the way I do, so they're not letting me be funny. I don't know, because I don't know. It's hard to know what people are thinking and feeling in scenes. All you can control is yourself. And so play from a positive standpoint, like everything, or focus on what you like. That's what I try to tell people now, especially when you've been doing it for a couple, more than a class.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've taken 2 or 3 classes, that's not much. But then I try to get people to start focusing on the positive. What's good about this? What do we like about this? Let the coach and teachers focus on the negative. They should focus on the positive too, but they can focus on the negative. You don't need to worry about that. There's someone else doing that.
Right.
What's good? Do more of that.
You used to say, when you used to coach me, you were on Fwand, and you would say that nobody remembers the beginning or the middle of a Harold. They only remember the end. And so this wasn't true about your team, but you would say that it was, that Fwand was, you would say Fwand was an amazing team for like the last group game and third beats. And that for that reason, people thought you guys were amazing. And it's true that you guys were an amazing team for group games and third beats, but I think you were also really strong earlier in the show.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, but I do believe that. I watched a number of teams. Mother, which is a great improv group, used to do great group games. They were great at everything at certain points, but there was a stage where they were doing great group games and okay everything else.
Yeah.
The group games were spectacularly funny, and you would leave their shows going, that entire show was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because they had a first group game right in the middle that was so funny. Mm-hmm. Near the end, they had another one that was so funny, and then both group games came back in the end, mixed in with the other scenes that were okay.
Yeah.
So the second group game on, it was all great. I felt like most of the show, but really it's less than half.
Maybe less than a quarter, right?
Yeah, and it was so good. Everything else was like good enough. It's like the marshmallows of Lucky Charms are so good. It's all marshmallows. There's a lot of oat pieces too. I don't care.
That's like a good way to think about it, right? That like in improv, maybe a good strategy is try to have great moments. Don't worry if something isn't great.
Yeah.
You're trying to have something great. It doesn't have to be great constantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do every scene great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like be in the moment. How do I make this moment great? Is this scene over? Great. Let's move on to the next one. How do I make this scene great? And then some of those will be great. Maybe all of them will be great, whatever it is. And like you can do show-wide things and theme-wide things, but all that stuff comes second to how is this moment good? Fwand was a great team because I think the way we played was very much of what did that person just do? We're all on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, dumb, stupid, smart, I'm on board.
Would you scale that down? Would you say if like someone is a newer improviser and they can't do, it's like so rare that they do a great scene that they can't realistically go into shows saying, I want to do 3 great scenes.
Yeah.
But would you scale it down and say, I want to do, for my group, I want to have like 3 good scenes. And it's okay with me if like the other 8 scenes are a little worse than okay. Or would you even do if like you're going, like you're just starting to do improv, would you say a reasonable goal might be, I'm going to go into this class show and I want to do 3 okay scenes where, a base reality is established and some kind of idea that's funny is picked up on and is like repeated a few times and people get on the same page. And then the other ones can be batshit. I don't care.
I mean, I'd even go further. I just want scenes to start good.
You would say, I just want to go into a show and start a couple scenes.
It's like if my scenes start where I'm panicking and making bad moves, those scenes are going to be tough to be good anyway.
Sure.
But if I can start my scenes in a good place, it feels like anything's possible. And those scenes will probably turn out good. I don't know. I honestly play this way now, and I know you're saying it when I was a new improviser's goal, but I never worry about the scene. I'm just like, I want this next moment to work. I don't care about anything after that. This next moment might not set me up for another moment down the line, but it's like, you just did this move. How do I build off of that? That's all I care about right now. I can't worry about the rest of the scene. So I think the starts of scenes, when Will and I used to do shows together, and we would do mostly good shows, but we had bad shows too. Our bad shows almost always were because the first scene started bad. And we would be backstage, and it was almost always because we fought in the first scene. So before we went on stage for a long stretch, we used to always say, remember, in the first scene, for the first line, we need to like each other.
That's really funny.
We can fight after that, but if I step out and I already don't like you, we just couldn't break out of it. It would just become these sort of angry, not funny, piddly shows. But if we were on the same page for the first couple lines and then got into a fight, first of all our scenes didn't get trapped in that.
Yeah.
But also that fight just felt earned and more fun and not a fight. It felt like, oh, this is a funny scene where they're fighting instead of this is a fight where they're trying to be funny.
That's really good.
And so that was it. It was just that first line of the first scene for each of us had to be like, even really before I spoke, it's like I had to step out, look at Will as my scene partner, and not go, ugh, I hate whoever he's playing. It's like I'm already in a hole.
What a fantastic metaphor for all of it, right?
Yeah.
2 of the most experienced improvisers on the planet can't do a good show if in their first line they don't like each other.
Yeah, because we also, as a 2-person show, so we had no chance to break and reset and go, oh man, we're fighting a lot. I got to break out of this. You're just in it. Now you're just in the momentum.
Yeah.
And just all our bad shows, we could see, oh, it was bad from moment 1. It wasn't like we started good and it fell apart. It was like moment 1, it was bad.
I would bet you I've seen 50% of your shows. I would guess I've seen
Brother Signs?
Brother Signs shows, yeah.
I don't know. We did a year-long run at the UCB East.
Did you?
Yeah.
When?
During Nate Dern's tenure. I don't remember exactly when. Right before Will moved, basically. We did a year until Will moved.
I may have missed that year because
that's a lot. That's where most of our shows ended up happening. Yeah. But that rule came out of indie shows and cage matches and things like that.
Barring that 1 year-long stretch of shows.
Great. Barring those 52 shows.
At least 50% of your shows. And I can attest, none of them are bad.
We definitely had bad shows. We also had good shows. When you sent us on Torco, and we did half of those were great. And half of those were very bland.
Well, at least one of them, you had no chance of being okay.
Sure. Sometimes it was not us. Sometimes we were, but like because it was, we would get into our heads. But sometimes, like I don't know. Most of my favorite shows were with Will, but definitely felt shows where it just felt like work, and there were shows where it just felt like play. And the play shows were the good ones.
Yeah. I think in 2010 you did a show at a church, right?
Yeah. At school, the church of a religious school.
Yeah.
Some evangelistic school.
You're Adventist.
Adventist, that's right. And it was also advertised, I think, as a stand-up show.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And when we came on stage and we said, we're only going to need one suggestion, the audience audibly went, "Aw." And that was, we hadn't even started yet.
Hey, could they hear you? Was there any acoustics to speak of?
It was not a big crowd, so I think they could hear us fine.
Okay.
But they didn't like, we don't swear much or do dirty content stuff, but the few stars we got silence. Anything that was science-based weirdly got silence. We did a cloning scene that
like you'd be like someone would be like, "I'm gonna take your temperature now," and the whole room would get quiet.
I don't know if maybe we definitely did a cloning sequence that they weren't into it. They didn't like the idea of cloning.
Well, that makes them seem smart because clones are gonna ruin the planet.